Vikema Bhare Jimbo Shasyata Lama Bhare Jimbo Piaja Soda Mahere Tama Beya Maebe Charase Charabasire Kijele Pile Karaba Parabaride Hasere Parabe Pare Zara Panadane Aradane Panara Zaza Zaza Kile Mele Agadata Ge Taga Gelo Tahare Tahare Mele Mande Nende Gule Mele Ango Jidabe Are Jire Para Jire Koda Shama Male Tenye Tenye Tangole Horo 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 Kulosto Mele Mere Do Mere De Banadata Hara Kamadema Horo Horo Om Jide Gabe Tale 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 Jimbo Jimbo Jimmy Jimbo Agashai Jimbo Pakara Jimbo Amambara Jimbo Para Jimbo Pazera Jimbo Aroga Jimbo Dama Jimbo Sadeva Jimbo Sadeni Halai Jimbo Pebaroga Shawai Jimbo Uba Shamai Jimbo Nayanai Jimbo Paja Sama Monya Rana Jimbo Chana Jimbo Vikema Bhareya Jimbo Shasyata Lama Bhare Jimbo Piaja Soda Mahere Tama Beya Maebe Charase Charabasire Kijele Pile Karaba Parabaride Hasere Parabe Pare Zara Panadane Aradane Panara Zaza Zaza Kile Mele Agadata Ge Taga Gelo Tahare Tahare Mele Ma nende gule mele ango jidabe are jire para jire koda shama male tenye tenye tangole horo 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 kulostoy mele mere do mere de bananda hara kamare ma horo horo chenpo 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 agasha chenpo pakara chenpo amambara chenpo para chenpo pajera chenpo aroga chenpo dhamma chenpo sadeva chenpo sadeni hala chenpo pevaroga shava chenpo uva shama chenpo nayana chenpo paja sama monya chenpo chana chenpo vikema pareya chenpo shasya lama vaye chenpo pyaja soda mahele tama peya mahe chara se chara abasile kejele pile karaba para paride hasere parabe pare chara panadane aradane panara cha 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 kele mele agata ge tha ge lo thare thare mele mande nende gule mele ango jidabe are jire para jire koda shama male tenye tenye tangole horo 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 kulostoy mele mere do mere de bananda hara kamare ma horo horo chenpo 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 agasha chenpo pakara chenpo amambara chenpo para chenpo pajera chenpo aroga chenpo dhamma chenpo sadeva chenpo sadeni hala chenpo pevaroga shava chenpo uva shama chenpo nayana chenpo paja sama monya chenpo chana chenpo vikema pareya chenpo shasya lama vaye chenpo pyaja soda mahele tama peya mahe chara se chara abasile kejele pile karaba para paride hasere parabe pare chara panadane aradane panara cha 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 kile mele agata ge tha ge lo thare thare mele mande nende gule mele ango jidabe are jire para jire koda shama male tenye tenye tangole horo 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 Kulustoi mere mere do mere de bananda hara kamare ma huru huru Chenpo 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 agasha chenpo pakara chenpo amambara chenpo para chenpo pajera chenpo aroga chenpo dhamma chenpo sadeva chenpo Sadeni halai jimbo, tebaro gaishawai jimbo, uba shamai jimbo, nayanai jimbo, paja sama monyarana jimbo, chana jimbo, ikema bariya jimbo, shasya lama bai jimbo, Yada soba maene, tama beya maene, chara se, chara basine, kijele pile karaba para paride, hasere parabe pare chara panadane, aradane panara, cha 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 cha. Hele mele aga ta ge ta ge lo ta re mele ma de nende gule mele ango jida be are ki ara ji re koda shama male ye ye Tangole, Horo, Horo, Kulo, Mere, Mere, Do, Mere, Banada, Hara, Kamade, Ma, Horo, Horo, Chembo, 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 Agasha, Chembo, Pakara. Amambara jimbo para jimbo pajera jimbo aroga jimbo dhamma jimbo sadeva jimbo sadeni halai jimbo tebaro gaishawai jimbo uba shamai jimbo nayanai jimbo paja sama monyarana jimbo chana jimbo ikema bariya jimbo shasya lama bai jimbo pyada soda maere tama beya maebe chara se chara abasire Kijele pile karaba para paride hasere parabe pare chara panadane aradane panara cha 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 hile mele agata tha ge tha ge lo thare thare Mele mande nende gule mele ango jidabe are jire para jire koda shama male tenye tenye tangole horo 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 kulustoi mele mere do mere de bananda hara kamare ma horo horo Om Chidagabe Taleo, Mo Chidagabe Taleo, Omo 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 Chidagabe
You're there? There's an extra one, no? This one?
This is a food section. These are extras.
You know she prints so many things. You know she prints so many things. Oh, Manjushi. It's within there. Here or there?
It's not even time yet.
Oh, okay.
We're just 2 minutes.
Nice.
3 minutes.
3 minutes? 1 minute.
Oh, it's fast.
So let's begin by setting a good motivation for doing this practice. So of course we're here to pray for the swift return of Rinpoche's perfect incarnation, that there may be no obstacles to Rinpoche quickly returning once more to guide us in a perfect form. Whatever is needed by us, whatever is needed by his other disciples, whatever is needed by his new disciples, in whatever way he or she can be of most benefit to sentient beings. And particularly the sentient beings of this particular world. We think of all the suffering of sentient beings. And the main reason that they're suffering is because they have not yet found the teachings that teach them how to abandon negative karma and create good karma, the holy dharma. And many of them have not yet met a spiritual guide who's the perfect aspect needed to guide them on their particular personal path to enlightenment. So we can think of the many people we know who have not found their spiritual path, have not found a perfect guide. And then of course there's many other people we don't know in that same situation, and many beings in all the different realms in that situation. We can think how fortunate we are to have met Rinpoche, to have been guided by him, to have heard his holy teachings, to have learned how to practice the Dharma, how to transform our minds into virtue. And we wish the same for all other beings. So we do this practice for all beings everywhere to meet a perfect spiritual guide, and for Rinpoche to come back in whatever form is going to be of best possible help and benefit to the sentient beings of this world. Then we generate bodhicitta, thinking that we ourselves need to achieve that same state that Rinpoche achieved in order to guide others, in order to be the best possible guide for others. So we can think how if we ourselves achieve enlightenment, we'll be able to guide those beings with whom we have a karmic connection. We can think how urgent it is to achieve that state, given the incredible suffering that sentient beings are currently experiencing and will experience again in the future, until they meet a perfect guide. So we'll begin with the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha on page 6 of the Kopan prayer book, page 6. And we can begin by visualizing the objects of refuge in front of us. Buddha Shakyamuni, surrounded by the direct and lineage gurus, the idams of the 4 classes of Tantra, the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the hearers, the solitary realizers, the Dakas and Dakinis, and the Dharma protectors. We can visualize all the Dharma texts that they themselves composed on thrones in front of them. And we think that all of these beings who are the objects of refuge are in essence one with our spiritual guide, with Rinpoche. And so thinking this, we take refuge from our heart by reciting these words of praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teachers of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When supreme amongst humans you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, savior to you I prostrate. With his supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Teacher having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thusness I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path to sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community intending virtue I prostrate. Do not commit any unwholesome actions, engage in perfect wholesome actions, subdue one's own mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a defective view, a butter lamp flame, an illusion, a dewdrop, a water bubble, a dream, lightning, a cloud. See all causative phenomena like this. By these merits may transmigrated beings attain the state of all seeing, subdue the enemy of false, and be freed from the ocean of samsara, disturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. So we reflect for a moment on impermanence, which is one of the related to the verse from the Vajrayana Sutra. Many analogies are related to impermanence. A butter lamp flame, a dewdrop, a water bubble, lightning, a cloud, all show us how brief this life is. So realizing how brief it is, we need to make use of it right now, this very moment. To do as Buddha said, to subdue our own mind. So then we go to page 20, the foundation of all good qualities, which shows us exactly what we need to do, how we need to transform our mind into a mind that correctly follows our virtuous friend, minds of renunciation, bodhicitta, the right view of emptiness, and the 2 stages of Tantra. So we will try and read these words very mindfully. We'll pause just for a brief moment at the end of each verse, just to really bring it into our hearts, bring the meaning of the words into our hearts. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect Guru. Correctly following the Guru is the root of the path. By my clearly seeing this and applying great effort, Please bless me to rely upon the Guru with great respect. So we still have the field of refuge in front of us. So we request the blessings of all the objects of refuge, and all of which are manifestations of our root Guru, the ultimate root Guru, the Dharmakaya mind of omniscience, perfect power, infinite compassion. When I have discovered that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is extremely difficult to find again, and is greatly meaningful, please bless me to unceasingly generate the mind, taking its essence day and night. This body and life are changing like a water bubble. Remember how quickly they perish and death comes. After death, just like shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. When I have found definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be conscientious in abandoning even the slightest collection of shortcomings and in accomplishing all virtuous deeds. When I have recognized the shortcomings of samsaric perfections, there is no satisfaction in enjoying them. They are the door to all suffering, and they cannot be trusted. Please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Through my being led by this pure thought, with great remembrance, alertness, and conscientiousness, please bless me to make keeping the individual liberation vows, the root of the teachings, my essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all other transmigratory beings. By my seeing this, please bless me to train in Supreme Bodhicitta, which bears the responsibility of freeing transmigratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, without familiarizing myself with the three types of morality, I cannot achieve enlightenment. By my seeing this well, please bless me to keep the vow of the sons of the victorious ones with fervent effort. By my having pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to quickly generate within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. When I have become a suitable vessel by training in the common path, please bless me to immediately enter the holy gateway of the fortunate beings, the supreme of all vehicles, the Vajrayana. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping my vows and samayas purely. When I have gained effortless conviction in this, please bless me to protect them even at the cost of my life. Then, when I have realized exactly the vital points of the two stages, the essence of the tantric sets, and am enjoying the yoga of 4 sessions with effort, without being distracted by non-meditation objects, please bless me to accomplish these according to the teachings of the holy beings. Thus may the virtuous friends who reveal the noble path and the spiritual practitioners who correctly accomplish it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely the collections of outer and inner obstacles. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma, and by completing the qualities of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Ajadara. So then we go to page 89, 8 verses of thought transformation. So here we can visualize that Rinpoche's holy body takes on the aspect of thousand-armed Chenrezig. So we have Chenrezig in front of us, one with our holy guru, completely inseparable. And at our holy guru's heart is the syllable Hri. So after we recite each verse, we're going to pause and think for a moment that rays of light and nectar come from Chenrezig's syllable Hri and every pore of his holy body, purifying all our obscurations, especially self-cherishing thought, which is what prevents us from transforming our mind into bodhicitta, and giving us all the realizations that are mentioned in the various verses, and in particular loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. Determined to obtain the greatest possible benefit from all sentient beings, or more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, I hold the most dear at all times. So imagine blissful white nectar and beams of light radiating from Chenrezig's holy body, filling your body, also filling the body of all the sentient beings visualized around you, your parents, the members of your family, your friends, all the human beings of this world and of other worlds, and all the beings of the six realms. It purifies all obscurations, in particular the self-cherishing thought, which is what prevents us from holding others most dear. Self-cherishing thought instead holds ourselves dear, cherishes ourselves. We become completely free of that mind, that attitude. And in this place we gain the realizations of love, of compassion, of bodhicitta. With bodhicitta we effortlessly hold others as dear, as more precious than ourselves. Wherever I am and whoever I am with, I always consider myself the lowest of all, and from the depths of my heart hold others dear and supreme. So blissful white nectar and light flows from Chenrezig's holy body, from our Guru's holy body, purifying our own and others' obscurations, in particular the self-cherishing thought, which is what prevents us from considering ourselves the lowest of all, and prevents us from holding others dear and supreme. The self-cherishing thought completely disappears, and in its place we generate the minds of love, of compassion, of bodhicitta. Whereby we come to cherish others and hold them as dear and supreme. In all actions, I examine my mental continuum, and the minute a delusion arises, since it endangers myself and others, I forcefully confront and avert it. White rays of light and nectar flow from Chenrezig's holy body, purifying our own and others' obscurations, especially the self-cherishing thought, which is what prevents us from confronting and averting our delusions the minute they arise. And we receive all the realizations, especially love and kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, but also the wisdom realizing emptiness, which is what will actually seize all our delusions. And in particular, the self-grasping ignorance that is the basis of our self-cherishing thought. Whenever I see sentient beings who are wicked in nature and overwhelmed by negative actions and heavy suffering, I hold such rare ones dear as if I had found a precious treasure. So we can think about how, due to our self-cherishing thought, we have exactly the opposite reaction when faced with difficult people. People who are harming us, harming our loved ones, engaging in heavy negative actions. We tend to reject them, feel anger, even hatred towards them. And now we receive the purifying rays of light and nectar from Chenreze's holy body, purifying the self-cherishing thought in particular that prevents us from cherishing such difficult beings. And filling us with the realizations of loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, which is able to see all these difficult sentient beings as being like a precious treasure, something we absolutely need in our lives in order to be able to put into practice the teachings on thought transformation. When out of envy others mistreat me with abuse, insults, or the like, I accept defeat and offer the victory to them. So again, we can think about how our automatic reaction tends to be to defend ourselves against abuse, insults, and the like. We reject them, get angry that people treat us in this way. And all this comes from the self-cherishing thought of me and my happiness, what I want, what I don't like. So the purifying rays of light from Chenreze's holy body purify this self-cherishing thought that leads to our anger, our rejection. And fills us with loving kindness and compassion and bodhicitta, especially for those beings that treat us in harmful ways, in ways that we don't like. When someone whom I have benefited and whom I have great hopes gives me terrible harm, I regard them as my virtuous friend. So here again we request blessings to be able to transform our mind completely from our natural reaction of wanting to harm back when we receive harm, and being particularly hurt when those in whom we have great hope don't do what we want and expect them to do, and treat us in ways that we don't like, we don't want. So we receive the purifying nectar and light from Chenreze's holy body, purifying this self-cherishing thought. Especially the one that prevents us from seeing those who harm us as our virtuous friend. And filling us with loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. In short, both directly and indirectly, I offer every happiness and benefit to all my mothers. I secretly take upon myself all their harms and suffering. So here we receive the purifying rays of light and nectar from Chenreiz's holy body, washing away all our self-cherishing thought that prevents us from doing the practice of Tonglen, of taking upon ourselves others' suffering and of giving them all our happiness. So when we do Tonglen, we imagine giving others our body, our cherished body, our cherished possessions, and our most cherished virtue, merit. And then we receive the blessings of Chenrezig to develop loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. Also, I do not defile all these practices with the stains of the superstitions of the 8 worldly concerns, and by knowing all phenomena to be illusory, without trusting in them, I am freed from bondage. So here the blissful white light and nectar coming from Chenreiz's holy body purifies all our obscurations, in particular the self-cherishing thought that causes us to have the 8 worldly concerns, and also purifying the ignorance that prevents us from perceiving all phenomena as illusory. And then the white light and nectar fill us with the realizations of loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, and also the wisdom realizing emptiness, which is what will release us from the bondage of delusion and karma. Then we make the request to Chenrezig, our holy guru. Great compassionate one, please extend your holy hand and lead me and all other sentient beings to your blissful pilgrim after this life. Be our virtuous friend in all our lives and quickly lead us to Buddhahood. So we think that Chenrezig, our holy guru, accepts our request and will guide us from now until our enlightenment. Now we're going to do the praise to dependent arising. So this was composed by Lama Tsongkhapa out of admiration for the Buddha for teaching dependent arising. So by realizing dependent arising, we can overcome our self-grasping ignorance, which in turn will overcome all our karma and all other delusions and allow us to achieve the full realized state of a Buddha.
Sorry, John.
Yeah.
I just need some text in the background.
Oh yeah, sure.
Can people share that?
Can people please share and pass some text back? We okay? Everybody has one? Okay. So we recite this prayer thinking that we ourselves are joining Lama Tsongkhapa in his praise and admiration for the Buddha. Homage to my Guru, the youthful Manjushi. Seeing and speaking of dependent arising, he was wisdom supreme, teacher supreme. I bow to him who knew and taught the all-conquering dependent arising. Of the suffering existing in the world, its root is none other than ignorance. The understanding to kill this root, you said, is none other than dependent arising. How could those of intelligence not see dependent arising as the heart of your doctrine? Where is greater praise of you, therefore, than in praise of dependent arising? Whatever depends on circumstance is empty of nature. What greater teaching is there than this? The foolish, however, seize on it, and only tighten chains of extreme views, while for the wise it cuts entangled nets of fabrication. This teaching is not seen in the works of others. The title of teacher, therefore, is yours alone. Given to others, it is but the hollow flattery of a fox being hailed a lion. Greatest of teachers, greatest protector, speaker supreme, guide supreme, I bow to the teacher of dependent arising. Benevolent teacher, you taught to help all living beings. Emptiness is the essence of those teachings, its highest proof, dependent arising. Those claiming it proves the opposite, those denying its very existence, how will they grasp your teachings? For you, emptiness seen as dependent arising does not render as contradictory emptiness of self-nature and ability to function. To hold to the opposite, however, that with emptiness there can be no function, and with function no emptiness, is to fall into a dangerous trap. In your teachings, therefore, knowledge of dependent arising is highly praised, but it will not be known to views of self or non-existence. Non-dependence, you have said, is like the sky flower. Non-dependence, therefore, does not exist. Anything existent by its own nature contradicts existence by cause and circumstance. Nothing is not dependently arising. Nothing, therefore, is not empty of self-nature. Self-nature, you said, cannot be destroyed. Phenomena, therefore, possessed of nature would render nirvana impossible. Samsara, likewise, would have no end. You spoke, therefore, with the roar of a lion, again and again, on this absence of nature, and amid the assemblies of the wise, who dared to challenge you? The absence of self-nature anywhere, this arising because of that. Both presentations are true, and what need to say that both come together without contradiction? Moreover, by reason of dependent arising, one will not depend on extreme views. This is the excellent teaching, my protector, that renders you orator supreme. All this by nature is empty, and this arises from that. Such realizations do not hinder, but mutually complement. What is more wonderful, more astonishing than that? Praising you this way is praise indeed. All other praise is lesser. That some, hostile to you, held as the slaves of ignorance, are unable to bear the sounds of no self-nature, comes as no surprise. That others, accepting dependent arising, the crown jewel of your teaching, are unable to tolerate the roar of emptiness, does surprise me. If by the very name of dependent arising, gateway supreme to no self-nature, self-nature is asserted, how will they be led to that noble path that pleases you, that incomparable highway well-traveled by exalted beings? Self-nature, real and non-dependent, dependent arising, unreal and of dependent nature. How, without contradiction, could these two ever come together? Consequently, that which dependently arises has forever been empty and void of nature. Things, however, do not appear that way. All this, you have said, is therefore like an illusion. Others may attack your teaching, but there will never be any match. Such claims are validated by dependent arising. How? Because its explanation casts away all possibility of flawed assertion and faulty denial of all phenomena evident or hidden. This very path of dependent arising, the reason for seeing your words as unparalleled, generates conviction of validity of other teachings. Having seen the truth, you taught it. Those following you will leave all troubles far behind, for they will cut to the root of every fault. Those, however, outside your teachings, though they practice long and hard, are those who beckon back faults, for they are welded to views of self. Ah, when the wise see the difference, how could they not revere you from the very depths of their hearts? What need to talk of many teachings? The simplest conviction, just a single part, brings on the greatest of joy. Alas, my mind is ruined by ignorance. For so long have I gone for refuge to this great store of meritorious qualities, yet not a single one do I possess. As yet, however, my life has not slipped between the jaws of the Lord of Death, and having a modicum of faith in you, I do consider myself fortunate. Among teachers, the teacher of dependent arising. Among knowledge, knowledge of dependent arising. These two, like a mighty conqueror in the world, you know to be supreme, where others do not. All that you have taught proceeds from dependent arising, its purpose the transcendence of suffering. Nothing you do, therefore, is not for peace. Ah, your teachings, those whose ears they fall upon will all find peace. Who, therefore, would not hold them dear? Across their breath, no contradiction. Opponents' arguments all destroyed, fulfilling the two aims of living beings. My joy in these teachings grows and grows. For this knowledge you gave away over countless aeons again and again, your loved ones, your possessions, sometimes your body, other times your life. Seeing such qualities, I am drawn by your mind like a fish on a hook. Not hearing your Dharma for you in person, such misfortune. By the pain of such sorrow, my mind will never give you up, like the mind of a mother for a precious child. And yet as I think on your words, hearing you talk of this and that, teacher with a voice melodic as Brahman, resplendent with features of perfection, encircled by garlands of light, your enlightened form reflects in my mind, like the cool light of the moon, medicine for my feverish torment. Those unwise in this wonderful doctrine were confused and tangled like plaited grass. Seeing this, I followed with diligence the great scholars, seeking again and again your thoughts, poring over many works of our and others' tradition, yet still my mind was torn by doubts. When, with the kindness of my lamas, I saw this unsurpassed vehicle of yours leaving behind extremes of existence and non-existence, elucidated by the prophesied Nagarjuna, his lotus grove illuminated by the moonlight of the glorious Chandrakirti's teachings, whose globe of stainless wisdom moved freely through the sky of your words, dispelling the darkness that holds to extremes, outshining the stars of false speakers, it was then that my mind found its peace. Of all Buddha's deeds, his words were the greatest, and they were words of dependent arising. Let the wise therefore remember him this way. Becoming ordained into the way of the Buddha, by not being lax in study of his words, and by yoga practice of great resolve, this monk devotes himself to that great purveyor of truth. Due to the kindness of my lamas, I have met the teachings of the greatest of teachers. I dedicate this virtue, therefore, for every living being to be nourished by true spiritual friends. I pray that the teachings of He who is solely benevolent remain unscattered by the winds of false views until the end of time, and with faith in the Buddha gained from understanding their essential nature, may they pervade forever. In all my births, even at the cost of my life, may I never falter nor shrink from working for the wonderful doctrine of the mighty Buddha, who showed clearly the nature of dependent arising. I pray that I pass my days and nights in thinking how I might spread this Dharma, born from the heroic perseverance in the face of countless hardships of this spiritual guide. When I pursue these endeavors wholeheartedly and sincerely, may I be supported constantly by Brahma, Indra, Mahakala, the four guardians of the world, and all other protectors. So we make a strong, heartfelt wish to be able to put into practice not only the teachings of Buddha, but also the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa on dependent arising, and also the teachings of Rinpoche on dependent arising. We received so many teachings in which Rinpoche set out the reasoning of dependent arising. May we quickly be able to realize them. Then we're going to do the recitation of chanting the names of Manjushi in a separate booklet. So could people please share the text if they're near someone? Is that everybody? Yeah? Okay. So again, as I've mentioned in other sessions, we recite this thinking that the names of Manjushi taught by the Buddha in this text are actually describing the qualities of our holy guru, Lama Zopa Rinpoche. All these names expressed by the Buddha were epithets or titles, names given to the Buddha of wisdom. The Buddha of wisdom, Manjushi, is one with our holy guru. So again, we recite these names thinking that we ourselves need to achieve these qualities in order to be of best possible benefit to all sentient beings. We need to become one with our holy guru, one with his holy qualities, so that we can enact enlightened activities just in the same way that he did, is doing, and will continue to do until all sentient beings are freed from samsara and achieve enlightenment. In the Indian language, Arya Manjushi Nama Sangiti. In Tibetan, Pakpa Jampa Gitsen Yang Dakpa Jupa. In English, chanting the names of the noble Manjushi. Homage to ever youthful Manjushi. 1. The request. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, supreme subduer of the hard to tame, the hero conquering the triple world, the Vajra lord and master of all secrets, with eyes wide open like white lotuses, his face just like a lily in full bloom, while shaking in his hand repeatedly a Vajra of the highest excellence, accompanied by countless Vajrapanis, with features such as fierce turbulent brows, subduers of the hard to tame, heroes appearing with heroic hideous forms, brandishing in their hands their mighty Vajras, the tips of which emit a tense of light. Great benefactors to all living beings, through skill, through insight, and through great compassion, with pleased and happy attitudes, with joy, their bodies those of wrathful deities, protectors who assist the Buddha's deeds, their bodies bowing reverentially, paid homage to the true awakened one, protector, blessed one, Tathagata, and joining his two palms respectfully, he said before the Lord the following: O omnipresent Lord, for my well-being, with due concern for me and for my sake, that I may reach complete awakening upon the basis of illusion's net, and for the sake of every living being, sunk deep into the mud of ignorance, their thoughts disturbed by various afflictions, so that they may obtain the highest fruit. May you, the most supreme awakened one, the blessed one, the world's teacher, who knows the great Samaya's reality, aware of wishes and abilities, reveal to us the great name chanting of the wisdom body of the Blessed One, the great Ushnisha, master of all speech, the self-arising wisdom emanation, the wisdom deity called Manjushi, these names with meaning both profound and vast, of great significance, unmatched, serene, with goodness at their start, middle, and end, proclaimed by Buddhas of the aeons past, and to be taught by Buddhas yet to come, and taught not once but time and time again by all the Buddhas of the present age, which were respectfully recited in illusion's net, the Tantra most supreme, by multitudes of mighty Vajrapanis, the joyous guardians of secret mantras. Just this I shall uphold with firm resolve until I reach my final liberation, so that I may become, O great protector, the bearer of the Buddha's every secret. And this I shall reveal to living beings according to each one's capacity, in order that afflictions may be quelled, so ignorance may fully be dispelled. With this respect to Tathagata, the master of all secrets, Vajrapani, his body bowed, his palms politely joined, then stood before the Lord devotedly. To the reply. And so the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, the best of men, the fully awakened one, extending from his mouth his handsome tongue, a tongue unmatched in both its breadth and length, displaying a gentle smile to living beings, a smile that fills the threefold worlds with light, that tames the enemy, the four maras, that ends unwanted birth in all three forms, his voice melodious like that of Brahma, completely filling all the triple world, replied as follows to the Lord of Secrets, to Vajrapani, strongest of the strong, that you, abounding in supreme compassion, and aiming to assist all living beings, are willing and prepared to hear from me this evil-quelling, purifying chant, the chanting of the names so filled with meaning, of Manjushi's embodiment of wisdom. How truly excellent, O Vajradhara! How excellent of you, O Vajrapani! And so I shall, O Master of all secrets, reveal just that to you most splendidly. With single-minded focus, listen well. How excellent, responded Vajrapani. So truly excellent, O Blessed One. 3. The survey of the 6 families. And then the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, surveyed in full the family great with mantras, the family of the Vidyas and the mantras, the family that is threefold by its nature, the family of and yet beyond the world, the family great in brightening the world, the foremost family of Mahamudra, and so the family great with great Ushnishas. 4. The stages of awakening according to illusion's net. And then about the Lord of Speech he spoke these verses, which include 6 kingly mantras, which manifest from non-duality, which bear the quality of non-arising. A, I, I, U, E, O, A, Stito, Hridi, Jana, Mirtir, Aham, Buddho, Buddha Nam, Triya, Dva, Vartinam, Om, Vajratishna, Dukkha, Cheda, Prajna, Jana, Murtaye, Jana, Kaya, Vagisvara, Arapatsanaye, Te, Nama. 5. The Great Vajradhatu Mandala. And so he is the Blessed One, the Buddha, awakened fully, born of the letter A, He is the letter A, the foremost phoneme, supreme most syllable with meaning great, arising from great vital force, unborn, beyond expression based on words or speech, the foremost cause of every form of speech, the shining forth of every kind of language. Great feast who takes the form of great passion, producing bliss in every sentient being. Great feast who takes the form of great anger, great enemy of every mental poison. Great feast who is by nature great delusion, delusion's vanquisher for deluded minds. Great feast who is in essence great fury, great adversary to all furiousness. Great feast who takes the form of great desire, who vanquishes desire in all forms. He is great carnal lust, he is great bliss, he is great happiness, he is great joy. With great appearance bearing form supreme, with great complexion marked by great physique, with great renown, the great munificent one, his mandala voluminous and great, the bearer of the mighty sword of wisdom, the foremost gold for taming great afflictions, possessing great renown, his glory great, his brightness great, his luster most supreme, most wise upholder of the great illusion, fulfiller of the great illusion's aims, enraptured by the great illusion's rapture, the great illusion's great illusionist, the foremost lord of great munificence, supreme upholder of great discipline, intense supporter of great tolerance, with valor rooted in great diligence, samadhi resting through great meditation, endowed with bodies flowing from great wisdom, with great in strength and great in skillful means, a brimming ocean filled with vows and knowledge, by nature great in kindness limitless, the foremost mind enriched by great compassion, of great insight, of great intelligence, great dexterous one with methods ever great, commanding powers and great miracles, the driving force supreme, with speed unmatched, renowned great Lord, of foremost majesty, most valorous owing to his great might, destroying the massive mountain of becoming, unyielding, holding strong a massive Vajra, great terrifying Lord, the great cruel one, provoking fear in great and daunting creatures, protector as the greatest of all Vidyas, a guru as the greatest of all mantras, traversing well the Mayana's path, himself the Mayana's foremost way. So let's bless the water and offer it. Om-ahum, 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 Lama 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 Gedunde Kongi Jepolama We continue. 6. The wisdom of the Immaculate Dharmadhatu. He is Mahavairochana the Buddha, great sage observing great intensive silence, arising from the great mantra way. He is at the heart the great mantra way, accomplished in the 10 paramitas, having the 10 paramitas as home, in whom the 10 paramitas are pure, for whom the 10 paramitas are means. Protector reigning all 10 grounds, residing steadily on all 10 grounds, made pure in nature by the tenfold knowledge, maintaining purity through tenfold knowledge, with tenfold forms intent on tenfold content, with tenfold strength, pervasive Lord of sages, achieving every aim for every being, endowed with tenfold mastery supreme, beginningless complexity devoid, by nature pure reality and essence, unwavering, a speaker of the truth, with speech and actions perfectly aligned, a teacher of the non-dual truth, non-dual, atop reality's most lofty peak, With selflessness his wild lions roar, instilling fear in deer-like misled seekers. With journeys fruitful, traveling everywhere, as swift as thought in all Tathagatas, a victor, slayer of foes, triumphant lord, a universal king with forces great. Assembly head, instructor for assemblies, assembly lord, assembly chief, the ruler, most influential, bearing precious burdens, not other bound, his way the greatest way. The lord of speech, the master of expression, most skilled in words, adept with language, truthful, with boundless words, the teacher of the truth, providing teachings on the fourfold truth. Not coming back, not turning round, Rhino, the leader of the Pratyeka Buddhas, gone forth by going forth in different ways, the single cause of all great elements. Arhat, Bhikshu, defilements exhausted, devoid of passion, master of the senses, arrived at comfort, met with security, for he, having cooled down, is freed from stains. Equipped in full with knowledge and its base, the Sugata, best knower of the world, not thinking me, not clinging onto mine, established in the system of two truths. Upon the edge of cyclic life's far shore, with deeds accomplished resting on the bank, emerging from untainted lone awareness, with sword-like insight ever penetrating. The Sun, the Dharma King, the noble Dharma, supreme illuminator of the world, the Dharma Lord, the sovereign of the Dharma, the teacher of the path to excellence, accomplishing all goals, fulfilling aims, completely free from wants of any kind, bereft of thought, a non-depleting source, the Dharma source, supreme beyond decay. Enriched by merit, merit's gathering, unique great wisdom, wisdom rich, aware of what exists and what does not, while gathering the twofold gathering. Eternal Yogin, king of everywhere, the object in the mind of concentration, the master of intelligent reflection, for by oneself alone is he experienced. Immovable, the ultimate beginning, the holder of the three enlightened bodies. The Buddha formed of 5 embodiments, the omnipresent made of 5 wisdoms, his diadem with 5 awakened ones, with all 5 eyes, maintaining non-attachment. The great progenitor of all the Buddha's eminent and foremost son, arising from the world of true insight, the sourceless Dharma source, existence ending, comprised of Vajras, holy, dense, and firm, the newborn sovereign ruler of the world, emerging from the sky, the self-arisen, a massive blaze of knowledge and of insight, illuminating beacon of great light, a lamp of wisdom shining brightly, a light for beings, a lantern unto wisdom, with energy supreme, most radiant, the Vidya King, the greatest mantra's Lord, the Mantra King, achieving noble aims, the great Ushnisha, marvelous Ushnisha, the Lord of space, revealer of all beings, the best embodiment of every Buddha, with eyes the joy of every living being, creator manifesting varied forms, great sage, deserving praise, deserving worship, a mantran born unto the triple family, upholding mantras of the foremost pledge, the greatest bearer of the triple gem, who teaches all 3 peerless vehicles, with snare unfailing, most victorious, the snatcher every great, the Vajra snare, the Vajra hook, the snare of excellence. 7, the mirror-like wisdom. Called Vajrabhairava, he is terrific, 6-faced, the king of anger, hideous, 6-eyed, 6-armed, the ever-powerful, bearing his fangs a skeleton, Hala Hala, 100 faces proud. The Yama killer, ruling obstacles, instilling fear with Vajra impetus, the Vajra-hearted, famous for his Vajra, with belly large, with Vajras of illusion, the Vajra-born, the sovereign of the Vajra, akin to space, his core comprised of Vajras, unmoving, haughty with his single dreadlock, his clothes an elephant's raw hide still moist, the great terrific one who cries ha-ha, who screams hee-hee, instilling fervent fear, his laugh a screeching laugh, a booming laugh, he is the Vajra laugh, the mighty howl. He is the noble Sattva, Vajrasattva, the Vajra sovereign lord, the highest bliss, the Vajra's wrathfulness, the highest joy, intoning hums of Vajra Humkara. With Vajra arrows serving as his weapon, his sword comprised of Vajras slashing all, upholding every Vajra, Vajra bearing, with just a single Vajra ending strife. With eyes like Vajra fire, truly dreadful, with hair that's like a Vajra set ablaze, immersion of the Vajra, great immersion, with eyes like Vajra eyes 100-fold, with Vajra hairs that sprout upon his body, his unique figure marked by Vajra hairs, with nails advancing, Vajras at their tips, with skin that's solid like a Vajra's core. The splendid master donning Vajra garlands, adorned with Vajra fashion ornaments, with booming voice, his laughter crying ha-ha, 6-syllable producing Vajra rumbles. Great Manjushi sounds supremely loud, a roar unique unto the threefold world, the voice that reaches every bound of space, preeminent amongst all voice endowed. 8. The wisdom of discernment. He is a being whose fully realized truth, reality's peak and selflessness, supreme propagating emptiness, unspoken, teaching both the deep and vast. The Dharma conch emitting piercing sound, the Dharma gong with lasting resonance, arriving at unbounded liberation. He is a Dharma drum in all directions, without a form, with handsome forms supreme, replete with forms diverse, comprised of mind, with splendor shining through his every form, with all reflections under his control. Invincible, renowned as Lord Supreme, the Lord Supreme who rules the threefold world, abiding on the noble's lofty path, great source of flourishing the Dharma crown, with youthful form unique unto all worlds, the elder, senior, father of all beings, adorned with 32 auspicious marks, most beautiful, most handsome in all worlds. The teacher teaching mundane good and knowledge, the teacher to all beings most confident, the world's most trusted guide, protector, savior, the refuge unsurpassed, the guardian, with rich enjoyments filling all of space, the knowledge ocean of omniscient beings, while smashing through the shell of ignorance and breaking through the cage of cyclic life. The thorough queller of intense affliction, arriving at samsara's opposite shore, his crown the crown of wisdom consecration, his ornaments comprising perfect Buddhas, the soother of the pain of threefold pain, the ender of the trio ending free, arriving at the threefold liberation, completely free of every obscuration, having achieved a quality sky-like, beyond the stains of every last affliction, aware of timelessness in all three times, most eminent amongst all sentient beings, the crown amongst those crowned with noble virtues, completely free from every kind of substrate, established firmly on the path of space, a splendid wish-fulfilling jewel in hand, the best of all that's precious, omnipresent, great wish-fulfilling tree, most plentiful, the greatest of all great auspicious vases, fulfilling the aim of living beings adore, an ally most beloved to all creatures, aware of good and bad, aware of times, the omnipresent knower of the pledges, upholding pledges, conscious of occasions, awake to varied aptitudes in beings, with expertise in threefold liberation, with virtues, knowing Dharma, auspicious source of all auspiciousness, of all auspicious things the most auspicious, great splendor, glory, good, most prosperous, great reassurance, foremost celebration, great joyousness, the highest form of pleasure, abundance, reverence, action, venerable, great happiness, the noble Lord of splendor, the greatest granter of all wishes, wished for, the highest source of refuge, refuge granting, the fearsome enemy of potent danger, alleviating danger in all forms, with tufts of hair, with plumes of luscious hair, with matted locks, cord tied, 5-faced with 5 hair tufts, his head well crowned, his head adorned with garlands of 5 strands, upholding great observances, head shaven, the foremost of observance, chaste student, with great austerities, perfect fully. He is the greatest bather, Gautama, a Brahman, knower of Brahman, arrived in full at Brahman nirvana, awakening its branches, liberation, release, complete tranquility, quiescence. Nirvana, peacefulness, tranquility, approaching graceful entry to nirvana, the combination ending pain and pleasure, the state devoid of passion, free from substrates, beyond defeat, unmanifest, unmatched, not making manifest, appearance free, pervasive, timeless, fully omnipresent, minute, beyond defilement, seed-free, unstained, devoid of passion, passionless, controlling humors, free from every illness, by nature most awakened, fully awake, omniscient, knowing everything supreme, beyond reality is consciousness, pristine awareness bearing non-dual form, beyond conceptualization, effort-free, acting as Buddhas do in every age. The Buddha endless and beginningless, the Buddha at the start, devoid of sequence, with wisdom as his only eye, unstained, Tathagata with wisdom as his body, the sovereign of all language, great debater, the king of discourse, best of orators, the best and greatest of communicators, the unassailable, the lion of speech, with universal vision, true delight, with fire garlands handsome to behold, with endless knot, most radiant, great luster, with shining rays and hands providing light, the best and foremost of all great physicians, unequaled in removing thorns of pain, a tree providing medicine for all, a foe opposing every malady, the lovely crowning jewel of all 3 worlds, a cluster of the stars most glorious, the end of space in all its 10 directions, the hoisting high of Dharma's victory flag, sharing one large umbrella with the world, with love and kindness as his mandala, the celebrated lotus lord of dance, pervasive with his precious parasol, the blazing energy of all the Buddhas, with bodies fully shared by all the Buddhas, the highest union formed with all the Buddhas, the single teaching taught by all the Buddhas, most glorious with Vajraratna's blessings, the highest sovereign Lord of Sarvaratna, the King supreme of Sarvalokeshvara, the Lord on high of Sarva Vajradhara, the quintessential mind of Sarva Buddha, residing in the mind of every Buddha, the greatest body born by every Buddha, the lovely speech enriching every Buddha, the scorching brightness from the Vajra sun, with stainless luster from the Vajra moon, great passion of the passionless in others, with multicolored rays that brightly blaze. The perfect Buddha's perfect Vajra posture, retaining for all beings the Buddha's Dharma, the lotus Buddha's celebrated sun, the knowledge treasure for the omniscient, the sovereign king controlling all illusions, the foremost master of the Buddha's spells, Kalvicha Tiksha, completely pure, the highest syllable, atop pain's remedy, the Mahayana, with Vajra Dharma as mighty weapon, with Vajra depth renowned as Jina-ji, with Vajra thought aware how thou things are, perfecting all perfections perfectly, adorned by all the grounds of bodhisattvas, the selflessness of pure phenomena, with luster that is moonlight unto knowledge, with great endeavors as illusory nets, the foremost master ruling every tantra, endowed and full with every Vajra posture, completely furnished with all wisdom bodies, completely good with intellect supreme, the embryo of earth sustaining beings, great embryo from which all Buddhas form, with emanation circles most diverse, the highest nature of all entities, supportive of the nature of all things, with goals for all, with dharmas unarisen, supportive of the nature of all dharmas, with full awareness of phenomena, in but an instant as the wisest sage, with vivid realization of all dharmas. He is the sage, the greatest intellect, the vanquisher of hosts of evil spirits, unwavering, completely pure in nature, grasping the wakefulness of perfect Buddhas, the direct realization of all Buddhas. He is the flame of wisdom luminous. So we can offer the tea. Om-ahum, Om-ahum, Om-ahum. The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. To all Gurus I make this offering. So we'll continue. 9. The wisdom of equality. The great fulfiller of desired aims, the purifier of all evil states, the greatest of all living beings, protector, the earnest liberator of all creatures, unrivaled knight in battle with afflictions, humiliating ignorance his foe, the celebrated mind of amorousness, endowed with forms heroic and repulsive, the dancer moving to and fro his hundreds of lengthy arms while setting down his stride, the dancer spreading through the whole of space and filling it with Srimat's 100 arms, stood atop the surface of the earth, the soul of just 1 foot pervading all, stood tall atop the summit of the world, the nail of his big toes surpassing all, whose aim is one, whose aim is non-dual dharma, whose aim is ultimate beyond destruction, whose mind consists in groups of consciousness, with varied objects, forms, and cognizance, amused with every object of existence, a mind of passion, loving emptiness, transcending worldly passion and the like, with great enjoyment for the threefold world, with fair complexion white like pristine clouds, with radiance like beams from autumn moons, with luster rivaling the burning sun, with nails emitting light of crimson red, whose handsome crown has sterling sapphires, whose hair has tips of sapphire deep blue, with glory from the light of his great jewel, adorned with emanations of the Buddhas, the shaker of 100 worldly realms, his strength the 4 miraculous powers, reality with mindfulness supreme, samadhi king of fourfold mindfulness, infused with sense from bloom on Bodhi's branches, an ocean of Tathagata virtues, with knowledge of the eightfold path's true ways, with knowledge of the path of perfect Buddhas, the great attachment of all living beings, attachment free, comparable to space. When springing up in every creature's mind, he is for every being as swift as mind, aware of all the aptitudes of beings, while captivating every creature's mind, with insight into aggregated natures, himself with fully pure 5 aggregates, atop the peak of every going forth, most skilled in going forth in every way, established in all paths of going forth, the teacher of all forms of going forth, uprooting all becoming with 12 links, endowed with purity in all 12 forms, his form the way of fourfold noble truth, with realization of the eightfold knowledge, with meaning of the truths in 12-fold form, aware of suchness in its 16 forms, with true awakening in 20 forms, awakening fully, knowing all supreme, dispatching countless sets of some 10 million, embodiments of emanating Buddhas, the final realization of all moments, who knows each moment's object for all minds, and manifesting for the sake of beings, with means derived from varied vehicles, gone forth by way of all 3 vehicles, remaining in the single vehicle's fruit, with purified afflictive spheres at heart, annihilating every karmic sphere. Arrived atop dry land from flooding oceans, emerged from yoga's perilous dark grove, released from general, minor, and complete afflictions and their latent tendencies, with insight, means, and foremost empathy, achieving fruitful aims for living beings, abiding object 3 through all perceptions, with consciousness as object with cessation, with every being the object of his mind, with knowledge as the mind of all the Buddhas, residing in the mind of every being, having become their mind's equality, and satisfying the mind of every being. He is for every being great inner joy, confusion-free regarding points of doctrine, completely free from error in all its forms, his thinking free from doubt, his object threefold, his object all, 3 properties by nature. Throughout 3 times the content of 5 skandhas, discerning clearly each and every moment, awakening but a single moment, his basic nature equal to all Buddhas, with body bodiless, the best of bodies, with realization of the peak of bodies, displaying his form in every possible way. He is the greatest stone, the precious gem. 10. The wisdom of performing actions. What all the perfect Buddhas are to know, the Buddha's unsurpassed awakening, devoid of syllables, yet born of mantra, arising from great mantra's threefold family. The father to the meaning of all mantras, the greatest Bindu void of syllables, with 5 great syllables, great empty one, 100 syllables devoid of Bindu, endowed with every form, yet free from form, supporting half of 16 Bindus, transcending every grouping, void of members, sustaining dhyana's 4th and final peak, aware of dhyana's each and every aspect, with knowledge of samadhi's types and families, the best of bodies, body of samadhi, the sovereign king of all enjoyment bodies, the best of bodies, emanation body, the heir to emanation of the Buddhas, with varied emanations everywhere, while benefiting all, however needed, the sovereign of the gods, the god of gods, Asura Lord, the ruler of immortals, the king of deities, the god's guru, the highest lord of pramatas, pramata, emerged from cyclic life's imposing forest, the single teacher, guru for all beings, in every well-known world, in all directions, the eminent bestower of the Dharma. Concealed by armor made of loving kindness, well shielded by the shield of empathy, with wisdom sword in hand, with bow and arrow, concluding war with ignorance and kleshas, the Mara's enemy and tamer hero, eliminating threats from all four Maras, defeating all the armies of the Maras, a guide for living being, the perfect Buddha, deserving homage, worthy of respect, deserving reverence, always honorable, deserving worship, worthy of regard, the highest guru ever venerable, traversing all three worlds in just one stride, his step extending past the bounds of space, with knowledge of the three, well versed and pure, with sixfold higher knowledge and recall, the Bodhisattva and Mahasattva, with power great, transcending worldly life, perfected by his excellence of insight, now unified with insight's highest nature, the whole aware of self, aware of other, for fit for all he is the best of men, surpassing all to which he is compared, supreme most lord of knowing and what's known, the foremost master of imparting Dharma, who shows the meaning of the fourfold seal, the most revered among all living beings, engaged in going forth on all three paths, with glory purified by ultimate truth, most fortunate within the threefold world, the celebrated source of all endowments, supreme among the glorious Manjushi. 11. Praise for the wisdom of the five Tathagatas. Homage to you, boon granter, best of Vajas. O summer of existence, homage to you. Homage to you, whose source is emptiness. O Buddha's awakening, homage to you. O passion of the Buddhas, homage to you. Desire of the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O love of every Buddha, homage to you. The joy of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O smile of every Buddha, homage to you. The laugh of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O speech of every Buddha, homage to you. The heart of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. Arisen from non-being, homage to you. Homage to you, arisen from the Buddhas. Arisen from the sky, homage to you. Homage to you, born of pristine wisdom. O net of illusion, homage to you. Homage to you, the Buddha's spectacle. Homage to you, the everything of all. O body of wisdom, homage to you. Om Sarva Dharma Bhava Sobhava Vishuddha Vajra A. Prakriti Parishuddha Sarva Dharma Yad Auta Sarva Tathagata Janakaya Manjushi Parishuddhitam Upadayati A. Sarva Tathagata Hridayam Hara Hara Om Hum Hri Bhagavan Janamurti Vagishvara Mahavaksha Sarva Dharma Gagana Mala Suparishuddha Dharma Datu Jana Garba A. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, most pleased and satisfied with folded palms, prostrated to the Buddha, noble guard, the Blessed One, the Lord Tathagata, and with a host of other Vajrapanis, of varied forms, the lords of Guyakas, sublime protectors, noble wrathful kings, he then exclaimed this effervescent praise. Protector, we rejoice, how excellent what you have clearly taught. Through you our lofty aim has been achieved, which leads to true and full awakening. And so the aims of helpless mundane beings who seek the fruits of perfect liberation. Justice, as taught in the Maya Jala, is the noble path that leads to excellence, with largeness, vastness, and profundity, with meaning great, achieving being's aims. Justice comprises every Buddhist sphere. Justice is taught by all awakened ones. So next we're going to do the King of Prayers on page 156 of the Kopan Prayer Book. 156. So again, we bring to mind the motivation of bodhicitta, wishing Rinpoche to return quickly in order to guide all sentient beings, including ourselves, all his other disciples, all his future disciples, to the highest enlightenment. And with this prayer, really praying very strongly to follow the Bodhisattva path, exactly as Rinpoche showed us. King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samantabhadra. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushi, the alliance among humans gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, In the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you, with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom are Buddhas numberless as atoms, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, an ocean of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you gone to bliss. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru. All wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you, victorious ones. With transcendent offerings peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all positive potential of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request, you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for aeons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created, by paying homage, offering and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. May you Buddhas now living in the worlds of 10 directions, and all you gone to freedom in the past accept my offerings. May those not yet arisen quickly perfect their minds, awakening as fully enlightened ones. May all worlds in 10 directions be entirely pure and vast. May they be filled with bodhisattvas surrounding Buddhas gathered beneath a Bodhi tree. May as many beings as exist in 10 directions be always well and happy. May all samsara beings live in accord with the Dharma, and may their every Dharma wish be fulfilled. Remembering my past lives and all varieties of existence, may I practice the Bodhisattva way, and thus in each cycle of death, migration, and birth, may I always abandon the householder's life. Then following the footsteps of all the Buddhas, and perfecting the practice of a Bodhisattva, may I always act without error or compromise, with ethical discipline, faultless and pure. May I teach the Dharma in the language of gods, in every language of spirits and nagas, of humans and of demons, and in the voice of every form of being. May I be gentle-minded, cultivating the 6 paramitas, and never forget bodhicitta. May I completely cleanse without omission every negativity and all that obscures this awakening mind. May I traverse all my lives in the world, free of karma, afflictions, and interfering forces, just as the lotus blossom is undisturbed by the water's wave, just as the sun and moon move unhindered through the sky. May I ease the suffering in the lower realms, and in the many directions and dimensions of the universe. May I guide all wanderers in samsara to the pure bliss of awakening, and be of worldly benefit to them as well. May I practice constantly for aeons to come, perfecting the activities of awakening, acting in harmony with the various dispositions of beings, showing the ways of a bodhisattva. May I always have the friendship of those whose path is like mine, and with body, words, and also mind, may we practice together the same aspirations and activities. May I always meet a spiritual mentor, and never displease that excellent friend who deeply wishes to help me and expertly teaches the Bodhisattva way. May I always directly see the Buddhas, masters encircled by Bodhisattvas, and without pause or discouragement for aeons to come, may I make extensive offerings to them. May I hold within me the Buddha's genuine Dharma, illuminate everywhere the teachings that awaken, embody the realizations of a Bodhisattva, and practice ardently in all future aeons. While circling through all states of existence, may I become an endless treasure of good qualities, skillful means, wisdom, samadhi, and liberating stabilizations, gathering limitless, pristine wisdom and positive potential. On one atom I shall see Buddha fields numberless as atoms, inconceivable Buddhas among Bodhisattvas in every field, practicing the activities of awakening. Perceiving this in all directions, I dive into an ocean of Buddha fields, each an ocean of 3 times Buddhas in the space of a wisp of hair. So I too will practice for an ocean of aeons. Thus I am continually immersed in the speech of the Buddhas, expression that reveals an ocean of qualities in one word, the completely pure eloquence of all the Buddhas, communication suited to the varied tendencies of beings. With strength of understanding I plunge into the infinite enlightened speech of the Dharma, of all Buddhas in 3 times gone to freedom, who continually turn the wheel of Dharma methods. I shall experience in one moment such vast activity of all future aeons, and I will enter into all aeons of the 3 times in but a fraction of a second. In one instant I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future alliance among humans, and with the power of the illusion-like stabilization, I will constantly engage in their inconceivable activity. I shall manifest upon one single atom the ray of Pure Lands present, past, and future. Likewise I shall enter the ray of pure Buddha fields in every direction without exception. I shall enter the very presence of all my guides, those lights of this world who are yet to appear, those sequentially turning the wheels of complete awakening, those who reveal nirvana, final perfect peace. May I achieve the power of swift magical emanation, the power to lead to the great vehicle through every approach, the power of always beneficial activity, the power of love pervading all realms, the power of all surpassing positive potential, the power of supreme knowledge uninstructed by discrimination, and through the powers of wisdom, skillful means, and samadhi, may I achieve the perfect power of awakening, purifying the power of all contaminated actions, crushing the power of disturbing emotions at their root, diffusing the power of interfering forces. I shall perfect the power of the Bodhisattva practice. May I purify an ocean of worlds. May I free an ocean of beings. May I clearly see an ocean of Dharma. May I realize an ocean of pristine wisdom. May I purify an ocean of activities. May I fulfill an ocean of aspirations. May I make offerings to an ocean of Buddhas. May I practice without discouragement for an ocean of aeons. To awaken fully through this Bodhisattva way, I shall fulfill without exception all the diverse aspirations of the awakening practice of all Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times everywhere. In order to practice exactly as the wise one, called Samantabhadra, all-embracing good, the elder brother of the sons and daughters of the Buddhas, I completely dedicate all this goodness. Likewise may I dedicate, just as a skillful Samantabhadra, with pure body, speech, and mind, pure actions, and pure Buddha fields. I shall give rise to the aspirations of Manjushi for this Bodhisattva practice of all-embracing good, to perfect these practices without discouragement or pause in all future aeons. May my pure activities be endless, my good qualities boundless, and through abiding in immeasurable activity, may I actualize infinite emanations. Limitless is the end of space. Likewise, limitless are living beings. Thus limitless are karma and afflictions. May my aspirations reach be limitless as well. One may offer to the Buddhas all wealth and adornments of infinite worlds in 10 directions, and one may offer during aeons numberless as atoms of the world, even the greatest happiness of gods and humans. But whoever hears this extraordinary aspiration, and longing for highest awakening, gives rise to faith just once, creates far more precious positive potential. Those who make this heartfelt aspiration for the Bodhisattva way will be free of all lower rebirths, free of harmful companions, and will quickly see Amitabha, infinite light. And even in this very human life, they will be nourished by happiness and have all conducive circumstances. Without waiting long, they will become like Samantabhadra himself. Those who give voice to this extraordinary aspiration will quickly and completely purify the 5 boundless harmful actions created under the power of ignorance. Blessed with supreme knowledge, excellent body, family, attributes, and appearance, they will be invincible to vast interfering forces and misleading teachers, and all the 3 worlds will make offerings. Going quickly to the noble Bodhi tree, and sitting there to benefit sentient beings, subduing all interfering forces, they will fully awaken and turn the great wheel of Dharma. Have no doubt that complete awakening is the fully ripened result, comprehended only by a Buddha, of holding in mind by teaching, reading, or reciting this aspiration of the Bodhisattva practice. In order to train just like the hero Manjushi, who knows reality as it is, and just like Samantabhadra as well, I completely dedicate all this goodness just as they did. With that dedication which is praised as greatest by all the Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times, I too dedicate all my roots of goodness for the attainments of the Bodhisattva practice. When the moment of my death arrives, by eliminating all obscurations and directly perceiving Amitabha, may I go immediately to Sukhavati, pure land of great joy. Having gone to Sukhavati, may I actualize the meaning of these aspirations, fulfilling them all without exception, for the benefit of beings for as long as this world endures. born from an extremely beautiful superlative lotus. In this joyful land, the Buddha's magnificent mandala, may I receive a prediction of my awakening directly from the Buddha Amitabha. Having received a prediction,
may I create
must benefit for beings throughout the 10 directions with 1,000,000,000 emanations by the power of wisdom. Through even the small virtue I've accumulated by offering this prayer of the Bodhisattva practice, may all the positive aspirations of beings be fulfilled in an instant. Through creating limitless positive potential by dedicating this prayer of Samantabhadra's deeds, may all beings drowning in the torrent of suffering enter the presence of Amitabha. Through this king of aspirations, which is the greatest of the sublime, helping infinite wanderers in samsara, through the accomplishment of this scripture dazzling with Samantabhadra's practice, may suffering realms be utterly emptied of all beings. So now we'll do the swift return prayers.
Can you pass them to the back?
So I think really that Rinpoche is here present with us and listening to our prayers, listening to our requests for him to return quickly to benefit us once again and to benefit all sentient beings exactly in accordance with their particular needs. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious one, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losan father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the 3 jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general, and the teachings of victorious Jamgon Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma holding the 3 vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism. Unable to bear the transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience and increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one, through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigrated beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Most gracious Root Guru, care for me. Most gracious Root Guru, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of the 3 times, please bless me. You may rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion emanates in myriad ways. The time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dharmakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kechara or other pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to the southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor wretched beings, such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your body, speech, and mind and spontaneous activity, through our being confused and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your 3 kayas. Of everything auspicious, supreme auspiciousness, may there be auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion. May there be auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith and samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled through the blessings of the deities of the three roots. Perception, its object, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse. The blissful clarity of suchness. Ah. So then we'll do the long life prayer for His Holiness Dalai Lama. Page 169, 169. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And then we do the prayers for multiplying merit on page 166. 166. So we'll do this in English. To Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, Vairocana, King of Light, I prostrate. To Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Samantabhadra, I prostrate. Tayata Om Panchadrivava Bodhini Soha Om Duru Duru Jayamukhi Soha Tayata Om Panchadrivava Bodhini Soha Om Duru Duru Jayamukhi Soha Tayata Om Panchadrivava Bodhini Soha Om Duru Duru Jayamukhi Soha Tayata Om Panchadrivava Bodhini Soha Om Duru Duru Jayamukhi Soha Tayata Om Panchadrivava Bodhini Soha Om Duru Duru Jayamukhi Soha Tayata Om Panchadriva Avabodhini Soha Om Duru Duru Jayamukhi Soha Tayata Om Panchadriva Avabodhini Soha Om Duru Duru Jayamukhi Soha. To Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, medicine guru, king of Adira light, I prostrate. To Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, king fully accomplishing all dedications and prayers, I prostrate. Due to the blessings of the eminent victorious ones and their sons, the truth of infallible dependent arising, and the power of my pure special attitude of taking responsibility, may all the aims of my pure prayers be accomplished. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Make an announcement for everyone that maybe not to hang around here when we finish, not to have conversations here.
Yep. Can I also tell people just to quickly go around and leave so that the next group. So everybody, there'll be probably the young monks waiting to come in, and our time is finished. So everybody, quickly gather your things, do a quick circumambulation, maybe just one, and go outside. And then Venerable Kadra is asking that people don't hang around on the roof here talking. Okay, that if you want to have conversations, please go down and go outside. Thank you. And please pass over your books and texts.
You can just pass them forward.
Mantra? This is the instructions, the precious instructions.